Hello, good evening students here. As you all are well aware of, we are passing through the unprecedented crisis in the history of humanity, which is caused by COVID-19, which is the coronavirus here. Well, it has particularly caused large-scale uncertainties to the student world, and especially Ielts student community is under a lot of uncertainty. Well, we must say that we are passing through the most precarious times. But in such uncertain times, there is a ray of hope and a welcome news for Ielts candidates. British Council has designed and come up with a new product called Ielts Indicator. Ielts Indicator is online based exam which students can always take and crack by sitting at home, which means that they need not to wait for booking their dates. As aspirants can very well take this exam from their home, and it's purely meant for the academic candidates. It's not meant for any sort of immigration purpose. Well, this current PowerPoint presentation is being designed keeping in view the prospects of Ielts candidates, and we hope that this presentation will help them understand Ielts Indicator. So let's understand Ielts Indicator in a bit better manner. Well, what we will get to know in this presentation here, which we shall address a few basic questions which are related to Ielts Indicator, like why Ielts Indicator is created, what is Ielts Indicator, who can appear, what is the security of the test, what you need to know before you book the test, what are the system requirements and how universities can access the scores, what is the cost of Ielts Indicator and how it is different from normal Ielts, and of course a few facts you should know about Ielts Indicator. Well, it's created and designed to help students to continue the application process with their university or college while Ielts testing is suspended right now in most parts of the world. So students can appear in Ielts Indicator to secure their position in their desired university or a college, which means that by taking this test, students can enable the universities or a college to book and block their admission seat in the respective university or a college. On the basis of Ielts Indicator score, university or college may issue the offer letter to the student's candidate, which is a kind of commitment by the university, and they have to abide by it later on. As the students get their TRF, they can submit these at their desired institution to secure their position during COVID-19 pandemic. Well, it helps universities and institutions to gauge the English language ability of the students. You can understand Ielts Indicator through this brief graphical presentation. In the first place, you can see a student who is baffled with the effects of COVID-19. In the second place, you can see the student and Ielts Indicator who takes Ielts Indicators by sitting at home. And in the third place, on the basis of Ielts Indicator score, a student is able to approach the university, which issues the offer letter to the student and which helps students to block his or her own seat with the university or college later on. Well, what's Ielts Indicator? Let's have a brief look at the salient features of Ielts Indicator. It's an online test which can be taken at home but held once a week at a scheduled time. Just like real Ielts, 4 skills are tested here, like listening, reading, writing and speaking. and speaking is delivered by a video call at a scheduled time. It's an official IELTS product, and test format is same as a real IELTS here. It's a 2 hour and 45 minutes exam approximately. A student has to take this exam on a single seat on his personal system. Well, it's an indicative score here, which gives the score in each section and overall band score as well. The test result is declared within 7 working days. The most importantly, it should not be misconstrued or misunderstood as a substitute to a real IELTS. It is not a substitute for in-person IELTS, and it's purely meant for academic students. Well, IELTS indicator is given to the students candidates in all the countries which are struck by the coronavirus here. You can see the list of countries on the screen, and the students belonging to these nations can always take IELTS indicator sitting at home. What security features? Well, you have always been aware that IELTS follows standard security features, and so does IELTS indicator. IELTS indicator verifies a test taker's ID validation. Face-to-face validation is done during the speaking test, and of course it requires the student candidate to download a secure browser to prevent any sort of external access, and of course it provides students standard IELTS material here. Well, before student sits for the test, he needs to comply with a certain basic requirements, which can be called the logistics of IELTS indicator. First and foremost is a student candidate needs to have a quiet and a comfortable space to take the test. Secondly, a laptop or a desktop computer. A student cannot take IELTS indicator on a mobile or a tablet device. A computer should meet the minimum and recommended system requirements. It should have a stable internet connection. There shouldn't be any intermittent network problems which may disrupt the testing, because it's an online testing here, and computer should be well connected with speakers or headphones, especially for listening test here, and it should also have the properly working microphone and a camera for the speaking test, and of course the student has to present the ID document with which the student has registered for the speaking test. Coming to system requirements, a student should download and install a secure exam browser SCB to conduct their listening, reading and writing test here, and for speaking, students should download Zoom for attending speaking here, and of course the entire instruction manual is sent to the students via mail before the test. Well, this is how the university can always access the indicator score online. Approved institutions will enter the IELTS indicator student score ID, and they can always access the students indicator score along with the personal details. Well, that's how the indicator scorecard looks like. It contains a score of listening, reading, writing and speaking, but of course it doesn't look like the real IELTS TRF. Well, the cost of IELTS indicator is $149, which comes up to some 11,400 in Indian national rupees. Well, how it's different from normal IELTS? In a few aspects, it's different from normal IELTS here. Its scores are indicative. It cannot be taken as a formal statement of results. It is purely meant for seeking the offer letter. But later on, after the situation gets normalized, a college or university may ask the student candidate to reappear IELTS. Well, its functionality is same as computer delivered test. A student can highlight and take notes on the screen, drag and drop, check word count, copy, paste and so on. Well, the facts which have been discussed in this presentation are based on the study and research of a few websites here. To brief those facts again for you, which are very important focal points of IELTS indicator, in which first and foremost thing is IELTS indicator cannot be used for migration purposes. That's what the British Council website clearly states here. IELTS indicator website states that it's an indicator, provides an indicative score only. It's not accepted by the organizations, and hence the students have to be very careful beforehand. In consultation with their education consultants and counselors, they must make sure whether their targeted college or universities may accept IELTS indicator score. So they have to check in advance with the university or educational institutions here. IELTS website and indicator website clearly states that it's not a substitute for the in-person IELTS. Once testing resumes, the university or education provider may ask students to take in-person IELTS even if they have taken the IELTS indicator. Well, the last but not the least, we hope that this brief presentation must have helped you get a clear idea of IELTS indicator. For any further clarification, you can always put a comment and reach us. Well, thank you very much. Have pleasant times ahead.